Sometimes dreams can seem unattainable, and that's certainly how it felt for me when I was watching a time-lapse video of the Iceland volcanic eruption in 2010 back in college. I had never left the country before, and I was just getting into landscape photography. Back then, I could never dream of visiting a place like Iceland. So if you told me 12 years later I'd be witnessing a volcanic eruption with my own eyes, I frankly wouldn't have believed you. Here we are, and in this video we shoot landscape photography, time-lapse, and aerial cinematography of the Iceland volcano eruption. I share some of my favorite tips, techniques, and also some challenges that came along with this shoot. I really hope you enjoy the video. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another landscape photography vlog. And this time we're in Iceland. It's pretty cold, as you can see. I've got my puffy jacket and beanie on, but I've got a giant campfire right in front of me as well. It's probably the most incredible campfire I've ever seen in my entire life. Check that out. That's pretty awesome, right? Been here for a while, just kind of looking around, and you can get some really cool perspectives of the lava with the 100 to 400 lens, really compressing the layers. Let me zoom in here and just look at those textures. It's really surreal. And down here you can see earlier in the day there was this little break in the lava rock right there where I'm pointing, and it caused this spill of lava to create this giant river that formed down here. So a lot of this down here is actually new. I'm gonna do a bit here with the telephoto lens, and then I think what I'm gonna do is pop out the drone, do some aerial perspectives to get right above the lava and do some top-down shots. So really to start, I wanna get the crispness of the lava. I wanna see all the texture there. So I don't wanna do long exposures. Now, it is pretty dark, so I've had to bump my ISO, bring my shutter speed down, and then also bring the f-stop as low as it can go, which doesn't really matter because everything we're shooting is out there at infinity, so that's okay. It's interesting because the more you zoom in with this lens, the more out of focus everything looks. And that's because there's so much atmosphere going on around the lava. There's just the smoke and all this wavy haze. So it's a little bit tricky to get a shot that looks in focus, to be honest. So here's that composition that I was just working on. And this is just a nice, clean, simple shot, single exposure. I love the little bits of texture from the explosion, but I felt like it would be nice to get that lava river lead in right towards the middle of the photograph. So let me show you what that composition looks like. So here's an image that I shot a little bit earlier from down the hill, and I love the symmetry here in this photograph and how the river creates a nice S-curve. You can see towards the middle of the image it almost looks a bit out of focus, and that has to do with the heat waves coming off of the lava, whereas the previous image kind of got above that heat wave. And this was a common challenge throughout the shoot. After shooting this one, I tried a long exposure, and here's how that turned out. You know, I'm thinking this would be worth setting up a time lapse real quick. Now, I'm gonna try and see if I can shield the wind a little bit, but let's see if we can get the camera a little bit lower. 1/6 of a second looks really good for the shutter speed here for my time lapse. F11, ISO 100. Unfortunately, this time lapse I was just setting up looked a little bit choppy, but I did take a bunch of other time lapses during the shoot, and here's what those look like. As cool as these images were to capture from the ground, I think it's time to show you what it looks like from above. These top-down aerial perspectives were a dream to capture. Being able to see the lava from this different perspective was amazing and offered endless composition opportunities. This image ended up being one of my favorites from the shoot, and a little bit complicated to photograph. This was a 4-image panorama to get this very wide perspective of the scene with the mountains out there in the distance. Then I also had to do another 4 images that were darker to expose for the lava. I love the lighting here with the texture of the clouds and the billowing smoke that leads up to the horizon. And I felt like having this image in my portfolio was nice to see more of the context of where the eruption was happening and the surrounding landscape. It's really spectacular, isn't it? I've taken a lot of moments where I've just sort of had to stop taking pictures and just stare at the scene. As that ambient light keeps dropping, the lava gets brighter and brighter because it becomes the brightest thing, well, in visible sight. Even during the day, it was the brightest thing in visible sight, but now, I mean, it's casting this incredible orange glow across the landscape. You can see the smoke billowing up. So I'm currently flying with the Mavic 2, and one thing I like to do when I'm flying, and I'd encourage you to do the same if you like to fly drones, is to switch out your cards every once in a while. If you've shot footage, oops, as I dropped the card on the ground. If you've shot footage that you really like, you know, obviously a drone is replaceable if you crash it or something happens, but the memories and your images are not really replaceable. All right, we are ready to fly. Oh wow, look at these textures from above. So cool. Wow. Switch to the photo mode. It's crazy, during blue hour, everything but the lava looks pitch black. I'm going to switch to f2.8 because there's really no point in shooting another aperture here. And I think I'm going to try and bracket a little bit. Let's see if we can bracket the lava. And there's half a second. Look at how glowy that is. Wow. I thought this image was so cool. I love how this photograph is literally of a volcanic eruption from above, but almost looks like a volcano erupting from the side. The top of the photograph looks like the explosion coming out of the volcano. The intricate textures here were a blast to photograph, and I love how because the ambient light dropped, the lava was really the only visible thing in the frame, and all the rock down below just became a silhouette. These were some of the most incredible textures I've ever seen, and I wanted to get closer, but perhaps I got a little too close. I love the way this image came out. It almost resembles a skull or some sort of monster. The thicker part of the lava that's spilling out towards the bottom right matched really well with the swirly patterns up top. As fun as this was to shoot, let me show you my favorite image. So here it is, a dragon made out of lava. I think I knew while taking this image that it would end up being my favorite. It's funny, if you've watched the channel for a while, you know I, for whatever reason, really like to find dragons in my images. I think it's something that maybe I subconsciously look for, or maybe they just end up showing up. So when you look at these top-down aerial perspectives, I'm curious, what do you end up seeing? Do you see something different than I do? Please let me know in the comments. So after photographing these images, I got even closer to the lava, and then I got a critical temperature error on my screen and brought the drone back. Well, that was an incredible flight. I think I shot some really cool video and photos, and that was probably one of the most interesting flights I've ever had with a drone. Incredible. And actually, it was so incredible that I melted the bottom of my drone. I think all the bits in here are starting to fold, and yeah, luckily I'm in the process of replacing this drone, so that is nice that I didn't do this to a brand new drone. But yeah, it's you know, pretty hot over there, so this makes sense, but honestly, I gotta say the footage is worth it. That was spectacular. So unfortunately, upon further inspection, this would be the last flight of my Mavic 2. At the end of the day, I'll replace this drone. It's just another tool, but the photographs, videos, memories are something that I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. So during the hike back, I did find one more composition, and I felt like this was the perfect shot to cap off this video. So this is a very unexpected image. I didn't really intend on capturing any more photographs on the way back, but I just noticed this beautiful color contrast, the textures of the smoke, and this lone hiker going down the trail. And as I shot this photograph, I almost felt like it was a bittersweet goodbye to the whole experience. I want to thank my good friend Andrew Studer and Thorarinn Jonsson for joining on this adventure. I'm going to leave a link to their work in the description. Make sure to check out what they shot of the lava. And also stay tuned because Andrew and I are working on some collaborative cinematic projects that should be a lot of fun. I'm going to look back on the shoot as a highlight of my career and one of my most fun memories as a photographer. As always, I really appreciate you watching the video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.